For decades, the World Trade Center stood as an iconic staple of one of America's most famous cities. Standing high above the New York City skyline, this landmark could be seen from miles around. These two buildings stood for decades until a day in 2001 when terrorist attack took these buildings down. As planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the buildings could not withstand the blast and crumbled to the ground. In response to this, in 2006, New York City began to build the Freedom Tower. The Freedom Tower stands at 1,776 feet tall and now stands above the New York City skyline, as the World Trade Center once did. Decades ago in downtown New York City, workers began building the two World Trade Center towers. By Project's end, the towers had not only racked up an impressive height, but also an impressive bottom line. The two towers cost over $400 million. As we look at this number in scientific notation, it reads 4 times 10 to the 8th. We get this number by moving the decimal to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. The Freedom Tower, on the other hand, blew this number out of the water. By the time the Freedom Tower had finished building, it cost nearly $3.9 billion. This number in scientific notation is 3.9 times 10 to the 9th. We get this number by moving the decimal left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, giving us 3.9 times 10 to the 9th. Seeing these two final costs leads us to wonder exactly how many times more did the Freedom Tower cost to build than the World Trade Center Tower. This is an answer that is easily found by dividing the cost of the Freedom Tower by the cost of the World Trade Center Tower. First, we take our coefficients and divide them. 3.9 divided by 4 will give us 0.975. We then apply exponent rules to our exponents. Since we are dividing, we are going to subtract 9 minus 8, which gives us an exponent of 1. Now, since our coefficient is not between 1 and 10, we must move our decimal one spot to the right, making it 9.75. Now, since we move the decimal, we also have to change our exponent. Since this number got bigger, this number now has to get smaller. Looking at this number, 9.75 times 10 to the 0, leads us to know that anything to the 0 power is going to be 1, so we can cross that out. This tells us now that the Freedom Tower costs 9.75 times more to build than the World Trade Center. The next question we would like to answer is if we took the World Trade Center Tower cost and multiplied it by a certain number, let's say 2.34 times 10 to the 3rd, would it surpass the cost of the Freedom Tower? Doing this, all we have to do is multiply our two coefficients, 4 times 2.34. This will give us 9.36. We then apply our exponent rules to our exponents, giving us 10 to the 8 plus 3. 8 plus 3, of course, gives us 11. We then bring these numbers back together, giving us 9.36 times 10 to the 11th. We now know that the World Trade Center would then cost more than the Freedom Tower because 9.36 times 10 to the 11th is greater than 3.9 times 10 to the ninth. The last question we are to consider is if these towers, which stood so prominently in New York City, were attacked once, why would the United States build a tower in the same exact spot, even bigger, only to risk another attack? The answer is pretty simple. Because America. That's why.